suit and tie and get your hair cut way up high. Get yourself a lawyer, son. You're gonna need a real good one.
David Whiting is here. He is a Melbourne solicitor. He is here to provide you some legal direction on your query. David, no homework?
No homework, Raph.
What do you do when you don't have homework? Get bored?
I don't know. I have no headphones either. Let's try something different.
Why don't you get some headphones on and make sure you can adjust the volume knob on that one, and we will try Michael in Ascot Vale. Michael, go for it. What's your issue?
Yes, good morning, Raph, and good morning to you, David.
Good morning, Michael. How can we help you?
I'll recount our sad tale to you first. We live in Ascot Vale. In 2021, the council resurfaced the road outside our property, and in normal practice, resurfacing any roads, they resurface over all points in the road.
Pits like and all sorts of things, hydrants, water Correct. Tapping points, or everything just gets a nice layer of asphalt. Yep.
Yeah, terrific. Yep. Okay, so that was in 21. Almost 12 months later, the abandoned house next door to ours caught fire and burnt to the ground.
Yes.
The fire brigade was on the scene within a couple of minutes of being called because they're just around the corner. And when the firemen tried to look for the hydrant points, they were almost exactly opposite our property.
Yes.
They couldn't find them because they hadn't been re-exposed.
Yep.
The fire brigade spent probably 2 minutes.
Michael, where are we going with this?
The possibility of trying to sue the council for losses.
What are your losses?
At the moment, it's a shortfall in the insurance of a couple of $100,000 plus ongoing losses we're suffering.
Right.
So did you own the house next door, Michael?
No, we owned the property, but the property next door to ours is an abandoned weatherboard.
And were you underinsured, Michael? Did you not have enough insurance?
Not.
What's the issue? So why are you out of pocket as a result of the fire?
Well, the insurance won't pay up what it's going to cost to rebuild.
Does that might come back to, are you therefore underinsured?
No, definitely not. We've got well over $1 million worth of insurance.
And what's the cost to rebuild?
Probably about $500,000.
I don't understand what the insurance companies are. You haven't told us what the insurance company's response is. Are they disagreeing with the cost of repair?
Correct.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Yes.
That's a separate fight to the one with the council, isn't it?
That's a different question. The question is whether the insurance company is fulfilling its obligations under the contract they've got with you.
No, we don't believe they are, but that's not what I'm calling about. What I'm calling about is the possibility of suing the council for any shortfall we may have in what the insurance company may pay us, plus other ongoing costs we've had, such as having to go to counselling, extra costs where we're living at the moment, things like that.
Michael, I'm going to take that one on notice. I do not like your prospects there, and we talk frequently about the Road Management Act and what they do and don't do and can and can't do, to see whether there's any liability there. And the question it's a question of reasonable foreseeability. Can I reasonably foresee that the house next door to Michael's will burn down and the insurance company won't pay him? Can I say, though, Michael, let's assume that you do, for the sake of discussion, have the right to sue the council. You then need to look really, really carefully at your insurance policy for your house, because it may be, particularly in terms of the shortfall, that you might need to assign some of your benefit from council to your insurance company for the house, because it's essentially, well, for much of what you're talking about, the same loss.
Okay.
Now, I'm not trying to claim twice.
But you are claiming for the shortfall in the rebuild cost. Yeah. Why is that not? I would be going off to a building inspector, and I would be going off to get some. The council, it's not the council. The insurance company will have a quote for the repair of your house for a cost that you find totally unacceptable having regard to the scope of the works. Now, I've got a friend who's involved in an issue at the moment in replacement of a barbecue that he knew cost him $45,000 to put in and install, and there was a fire, and the insurance company have now found someone who says they can replace it for $25,000. But he and I both know it's not going to be the same model, installed the same way, or any of those things. That's your issue, Michael. I would be talking to someone about the scope of works that the insurance company thinks is appropriate for your work.
Good luck, Michael. Yvonne is in Clyde North. What's your query, Yvonne?
I went to my GP yesterday, and previous to that I had spoken to a policeman. I want to grow my own one marijuana plant for medicinal purposes. And my GP spent a good 20 minutes on the internet and couldn't find anything. So I'm wondering what you might have to say. The policeman said apparently you can get a medical exemption and permit. I presume your GP and then allows...
Yvonne, it will be my pleasure to take the homework, right?
Yeah.
So the question is, what's the process for... First of all, is it permissible? If so, what's the permit process? And one of the things that would concern me is the marijuana plant that you grow, because there's an issue with, I think it's the THC content of marijuana that you might smoke for pleasure as opposed to marijuana you might smoke for medicinal purposes. It will be a pleasure to take it as a homework question.
We'll take that one as a homework. Is that okay, Yvonne? Listen next week, okay?
Yep.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. That's a good one. I'm not sure I came across that one. Is it legal to grow? Well, Dave's going to find out.
Yep.
Good question. Justine is in Gisborne. Justine, what's your query?
Hi there. My dad tried to buy a house the other day and put on the contract subject to a building inspection, and it failed the building inspection, but they're still trying to get him to go through with it.
Yes.
Just wondering what happens here, because obviously he doesn't want to go through with it.
There are some fairly strict rules about the building inspection and what it actually means, and I would be starting by reading the building inspection report, because the standard form contract that talks about building inspections requires a major structural defect. Okay? So if it doesn't say major structural defect, then it passed the building inspection, even though the building inspector wasn't particularly keen on it.
Sure. I think it was water damage, and they said they suspected, structural defects, but obviously they can't be sure until they, rip out a wall and have a look inside.
Well, again, it may well be. Again, look at the building inspection report and see what it actually says.
Okay, and then what would happen after that if there's a structural defect?
Now, you've got to, I think it's special, the general condition 21 or 22 in the standard contract of sale. Yeah, you get a 3-day cooling off period. But where it's a building inspection report, you get 14 days in which to get it. And then if you want to exit on the basis of the contract, the report, you've got to provide it. But it's not, I don't think you should buy this. I don't think you should buy this because there is a major structural defect. Or even, I think it's a great house, but it's still got a major structural defect. That's the out. So you need to look and see how the report matches the condition, because it may be that, you've got a building report, but the building report isn't strong enough to get you out, Justine.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm always curious, David, if Justine and her dad wanted to dispute that, would that be VCAT or Magistrates Court, or where would be the first point where you'd dispute that if you wanted to?
It would be how much are we spending on the house?
I don't know.
But if, over $100,000 and under $1 million, it's the county court.
Right. Oh, so it's pretty serious, pretty fast.
We're spending proper money.
Yep. Okay.
There is the Law Institute where both parties are represented by lawyers, has a ethics committee dispute resolution process. There's also a concept in the Property Law Act called a vendor purchaser summons, where you can come along and you can ask, instead of is the contract enforceable or not, my question is, does this building report meet the failure test in this clause of the contract?
So there's an actual process within the law about that?
A vendor purchaser summons, yeah. Don't do them often, but in 40 years done one. So.
Interesting. Thank you, Justine. Good luck. Keith, I'm learning about all of the future disputes I might end up in. Keith's in Windsor. What's your query, Keith?
Morning, Raph. Morning, David. I've got a townhouse next door to me which overlooks my backyard. The one and only window in the townhouse upstairs was, up until about a week ago, opaque.
Yes.
The property was sold in the last couple of weeks. New owners are having work done on it at the moment, and they've replaced that upstairs window with clear glass.
Or they removed the film, whatever it was. Yep.
One or the other. Actually, no, they've
Kim?
actually replaced the whole window because it's a different window.
Kim, I would be going
Keith.
to council.
Yep.
My expectation is that when the building permit was issued for that, they will have got a permit for the construction of the property, and I'm prepared to bet that one of the requirements of the permit was frosted glass. Opaque to a particular level, but your evidence has to start with what does the council record show.
Okay, thank you for that.
Right?
Good luck. Kim is calling from Richmond. What do you want to say, Kim?
Hello.
Go for
Hello,
Kim.
Kim. Ken.
Yes, hello. I was a victim of an occupational health and safety bullying, work cover bullying. They were criminally charged, found guilty in the court.
Yes.
My question to you is, the individual that assaulted me as a person obviously didn't face any charges. Can they criminally be charged now?
They could be criminally charged, but that would be with the common law of assault, and you might have a civil claim against them also for damages arising from the assault.
Can you tell me, is there a statute of limitation?
6 years.
6 years.
Well, I mean, again, I will check it on what we're talking about. I'm not. My starting proposition is that you have a civil action for injuries for assault. You would also have the ability to report them, and the police might commence proceedings for a criminal prosecution. But as a general proposition, if that's going to be run in the magistrate's court, it needs to be brought within 12 months. And my guess is you're way outside 12 months. No?
Yes,
So
right.
magistrates' court matters are 12 months. Indictable matters are a longer time period. So, but I'm not sure if the police have got the employer or WorkSafe have got the employer. I'm not sure that they'll necessarily want to take it down to the level of the individual. But
No,
in terms,
WorkSafe's got the employer, not the employee.
yes.
Yeah.
So I will let you know whether or what the limitation actions would be on an action for assault that you might have. But I then need to come back, and you need to recognise that we operate a system of compensatory damages, not punishment damages. So you're going to need to prove your loss. And if you then recover an amount from this person that's directly attributable to loss for which you have already received compensation, be it from WorkSafe or under the Medicare system, it's quite possible you'll need to pay money back. So if you're issuing proceedings to make a point, that's one thing. But if you're issuing proceedings for the purpose of getting compensation, recognise you may have an obligation to give somebody some money back.
Kim, good luck with that. David, a general question. I thought a lot of the reason people didn't sue after work cover was that precise thing. It's hard to get money on top of what you've received from work cover and the successful prosecution or WorkSafe and that sort of stuff. Is that why a lot of people don't sue?
Well, the question is, aren't you essentially suing in respect of the same damage?
Yes.
Yes.
And we don't have the sort of laws that they have in other countries where you can
Where there's
get
punitive
punishment
damages and
yeah.
exemplary damages.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have them, but you just don't see them. It's a compensation system.
More questions for David Whiting in just a moment.
The end of Taze is upon us. Even if you're not a die-hard fan, Taylor Swift's Melbourne concerts are a huge cultural moment. I'm taking the Friday Review out to be among the Swifties as they gear up for her first MCG concert. Come say hi if you're in town, or stay where you are and let me bring the fun to you.
The Friday Review with Jacinta Parsons, live in Melbourne City this Friday on ABC Radio Melbourne and the ABC Listen app when the cricket's on.
This is ABC Radio Melbourne with Raph Epstein.
Your questions for David Whiting, taking your legal talkback queries. James is in Oakley. What did you want to know, James?
The thing is, I went to a mechanic. He's a friend of mine, and I gave him my car to replace a transmission, and he gave me another car in return to use. And I used it, and he told me it's insured, it's registered, and everything. I met with an accident. I called him. He said, if you're at fault, you'll have to pay the excess. I said, yeah, I'll pay the excess if I'm at fault. 15 minutes later, he calls me back and said, I'm sorry, I don't have any insurance. It went to my junk mail. The reminder went to my junk mail and so forth. I don't have anything.
Yep.
So I said, listen, I'm willing to pay you the thing. And he said, yeah, no worries. I'll pay it, he said. Then the other insurance company sent me a letter saying that because they only had my details.
Yeah.
So then I explained to them exactly whose car I was driving and this and that. And then they said, then it shouldn't be sent to you. This should go to the owner of that vehicle.
James, you need to distinguish between an employer-servant relationship and a friend borrowing a car relationship. So the issue is this, is that you as the driver of the car are, I am assuming, responsible for the accident. That makes you liable to the owner of the other car. Now, if the car was properly insured as they said it was going to be, then the insurance company of the repairer/panel shop would be picking up the tab because of the cover provided. There's no insurance in place, but what you have is you have a separate agreement with the repairer that he will maintain insurance on the vehicle subject to you meeting the obligations for the excess. So you're liable to the owner of the other car, and the repairer is liable to indemnify you for the extent of the claim less the amount of the excess you have to pay.
So
which means I have to pay for all the damages, is it?
In the short term, but you have, unless you can persuade your repairer to do otherwise, but you then have a claim against the repairer, the guy who's got your car to fix the transmission.
How much would it be? Do you know what the full bill might be, James?
It's about 13,000.
13.
Oh, so a good accident, yes.
Right.
So yes.
The car was he was repairing my car and he gave me a courtesy car.
No, I understand that. Yep. I'm saying that you have a contract with him where he was providing you with a fully insured car where your liability was the amount of the excess. He didn't do that, so you're out of pocket to that amount of money. So you have a claim against your friend, the repairer, but that doesn't help you in your dispute with the owner of the car that was damaged.
Sure. Lawyer letter to the repairer, David, is that worth...
Your lawyer letter to the repairer is probably where I would start. Now, what are you going to do about it? You told me it was insured. I drove it on that basis. I'm out of pocket by $12,000, something like that.
Good luck, James. You might want to start there, or maybe more persuasion with the repairer.
He can also go to a community legal service and they'll write the letter for him and it won't cost him any money. So,
okay.
Yeah,
sure. Great. Community legal service as well. Good thing to remember. Paul is calling from Brighton. What's your query, Paul?
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for your program. Thank you for taking my call. Hopefully it's a little bit more simple than some of the previous callers.
Oh, today's been good.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
They make my head spin.
Yeah, no, David likes that.
All right. I'm just wanting to know, are those legal will kits you can buy at a newsagents or online or sometimes I think even a post office, are they worth the paper they're written on?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the question though is whether they are fit for the purpose that you want them for. So if you fill them out properly and you miss nothing out, they're absolutely fantastic. Great value, right?
Okay, circumstances...
If you mess it up, I'm not guaranteeing anything. Yep.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul.
You had nothing else to ask there, Paul? You don't want to tell them?
No, look, my circumstances are very simple. I'm a single man, no kids, never married, no ex-wife, no baggage, none of that sort of stuff. I received a medical payout a while back, so I've got a few dollars.
Yep.
And I'm just wanting to know, I'll try and figure out what I'll do with it when I'm gone.
Paul, if you don't have a will, you've got parents, grandparents?
No,
okay,
none of the
brothers
above.
and sisters?
Distant, which I don't see.
Distant brothers and sisters, or just brothers and sisters you don't see? The concept of distant brothers and sisters worries me. Anyway, Paul, it will go, you've got no descendants, you've got no ancestors still alive, and no, if you've got siblings, it goes to them. Then it goes to nieces and nephews. If there's no siblings, no nieces and nephews, it then goes to uncles and aunts, and if no uncles and aunts, then to first cousins. And here are no first cousins, it all goes to the state of Victoria, and they will say thank you.
So worth writing a will?
Yeah, well, unless you want to help the state deficit.
Yeah, sure. Good luck,
Okay,
Paul.
thank you very much.
Good luck, thanks a lot. Maybe that is... I can't imagine anybody writing a will. Please, my assets and my last will and testament is that I should help the state government pay off debt.
No, I didn't say I'm going to pay off debt.
No.
When they changed the law in 2017,
yes,
because otherwise you kept looking forever.
Yeah,
so you find that there were relatives in Eastern Europe that no one ever knew of who've now got some money. The law changed, and nobody beyond first cousins will we go looking for. So I wrote a letter to the department because they do a financial assessment of every piece of legislation. What are the consequences for the state of Victoria of this legislation? Cabinet in confidence, not going to tell you.
I'm glad you wrote the letter though. Monica's in Skye. What's your query, Monica?
Hi. Look, I had a contract of sale on a property. They didn't cool off. We ended up having to issue a rescission notice, and that came into effect the day before settlement. The agent hadn't collected the deposit. What's your view on whether I take them to court to, one, either claim the full deposit, which I believe I'm entitled to, or wait and claim the difference between what I probably sell it for if I sell it for less?
Even if you sold it for the same, you might be out of pocket if you've got an agent's commission responsibility.
Yeah.
The contract, assuming a standard form contract, it says you can take the deposit and do nothing. Yep. And it also goes on to say, or you can sell the property in the next 12 months and recover the shortfall. Or if they had paid you the deposit, then you would need to account to them for the difference between the deposit you'd received and what your net position was.
Yeah. But they didn't pay, the deposit was never collected.
Are you going to sell the property?
Yes.
Okay, then sell the property and then recover the shortfall from them.
Yep, okay, super. All right, thank you very much.
Monica.
Good luck. And Nathan, you're in Mornington. What's the issue, Nathan?
Yes, thanks very much for taking my call. I got a parking fine on the weekends at Frankston Beach on a lovely sunny day, along with about 30 other unfortunate motorists.
You live in Mornington. Why would you bother going to Frankston for the beach?
Well, silly me, hey?
Yeah.
But anyway, I got a parking fine, and the parking fine lists Nepean Highway as the location. However, I was parked off Nepean Highway, on a street off Nepean Highway. I'm pretty keen to appeal it. I have appealed parking fines in the past for a similar reason and then got a fob-off letter from the council as a reply. So I'm keen to take it to court. However, I saw on the council's website that should I do that and should I be unsuccessful, they will try and pursue me for costs.
Yes.
And I read on the Legal Aid website that if you contest a fine in court, you risk not only an additional fine but also possibly a conviction. So is this all BS to try and just bully me into paying, or should I try and...
Well, sorry, how much is the fine, Nathan?
It's $115.
Okay.
But
what's a day of your time
worth? Well, it's like Daryl Kerrigan and his lawyer said it's the principle of it, right?
I thought it was the vibe, but never mind. All right. Nathan, in the event that the matter goes to court, you've got an infringement notice, and there is an amount of a fine stipulated on the infringement notice. If you go to court, then there will be the amount that the magistrate can fine you is greater than the amount on the infringement notice. So it ceases to be a fight about $114. It becomes a fight about something else. All right? Now, it's also possible that the infringement notice might be amended. So you go to them and say, take the matter to court, and someone else looks at all of the material. And my recollection is that parking officers take pictures of every ticket, every car that they find. They see it's not in the Nepean Highway, and they say, oh, Nathan in Mornington, we will cancel that infringement notice and we'll issue him a new one with the right address. Where do you go there?
I hear what you're saying,
Yep.
but in terms of risk to taking it to court,
yes,
financially, how can you give me a quantum on potentially what I'm risking in terms of an additional penalty, or is it unknown?
No. There will be an amount in the Road Safety Act. Let's call it $200, and let's say that you might then get an order for costs for another $200 or $300 for the council's time in taking you to court. So 115 or 500, you pick. But
Well,
then
to be
again,
honest with you, if they don't
amend,
I'm happy to do it.
if they don't amend the fine, if they don't amend the infringement, then your argument was, well, all of their evidence is that I wasn't there.
Should he pay a fine for if he didn't park where the parking ticket says he parked?
Well, it's an argument you take. I'd come along and say, Nathan, you parked illegally. We're just now quibbling about whether I was outside number 6 or number 4.
They do take photos, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, I saw them near me the other day. They take a photo for everyone.
Mm.
Let us know, Nathan, if you take it to court. We'd love to hear the outcome. David Whiting, you got a bit of homework there. Growing your own.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
For medicinal. And what was the other one?
I'm not growing someone else's for medicinal, not my own. Thank you very much.
David will take
and
the
the other one was...
That's okay.
Re-asphalting a street in Ascot Vale.
Yes, and the insurance implications. Thank you very much, David Whiting, taking your legal questions every Tuesday. He comes back with his homework at the beginning of the segment, so if you're interested in any of those queries, you'll be listening anyway, but 10 o'clock next Tuesday.